Hi everyone, my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel. This is my August TBR. As you may recall, for the past couple of months I've been extremely busy in my personal life, or professional life I guess. So I haven't been reading as many books as I usually do, but I have a feeling that August is going to be much better, partly because I have some time off work and also I am slowly getting into the swing of things with my new job and things are looking good. So I have a very ambitious August TBR. I'm planning on reading so many books. I reckon I can do it. The first book I'm going to read for sure definitely is going to be for the Space Sirens book club, which I'm a part of. We are going to be reading We Hunt the Flame in August. I have had this book for probably 2 years now. I can't remember exactly how long it's been, but I know that my friend Justine sent it to me and I still haven't read it because I don't know, I think I got maybe 30 pages in when we tried to buddy reading. I just couldn't get into it, but I'm hoping because I'm buddy reading it with a bunch of people and friends of mine that I will be able to get into it more easily this time. So I don't really know much about this one. I know that it's a YA fantasy. It's heavily inspired by ancient Arabia and that's pretty much all I know. Maybe one of the main characters is an assassin or something, who knows. That's one of my favourite tropes, so I am fine with that. So I'm definitely going to be reading this one in August. The next book is actually one that Justine also sent me, and that is My Friend Dahmer. It's a graphic novel. I have already started this one and that's why it's on my TBR for August. I am carrying it over into the next month. I'm not loving this book, I have to be honest. I don't think Justine loved it either and that's why she sent it my way instead of keeping it. Not that she sends me bad books, but you know. So this one is a graphic novel by Derf, Backderf. I don't know if that's his actual name. Sounds kind of like William Williamson. He went to high school with Jeffrey Dahmer, the serial killer, and so he has written or drawn a graphic novel, created a graphic novel I suppose, about Jeffrey Dahmer's time at school and his experiences with Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm going to review this one at the end of the month in my wrap up, so I will talk to you about it then, but just know it's not the best book. I'm quite disappointed by it and I don't really like the fact that the author has written it. The next two books that I want to mention are parts of a project that I'm doing. I'm going to be reading Tiffany D. Jackson's books. So Tiffany D. Jackson is currently a YA author. She writes thrillers and suspense, I believe, and in the autumn, in September, Bucky is currently eating, I'm very sorry, she is coming out with a more horror thriller book and I'm so excited. I have an advanced reader's copy of it. So in August I'm going to be reading through all of her backlist, or at least as many as I can, and then I'll read a few at the beginning of September as well, and I'm going to be deciding which book is best. So this first one of hers is Allegedly. The first line on the back of the book says, Mary B. Edison killed a baby, allegedly. She didn't say much in that first interview with the detectives and the media filled in only the blanks that mattered. A white baby had died while under the care of a church-going black woman and her 9-year-old daughter. The public convicted Mary and the jury made it official, but did she do it? She wouldn't say. I cannot wait for this one. So I think it's going to be very dark and suspenseful. I think it's kind of a thriller. I'm not sure if it's really a mystery. It definitely comes across as a intense thriller book and I think there are some twists towards the end that sound, well, I don't know what they are, but if there's twists at the end, that sounds really good to me. And then we also have Monday's Not Coming. This one again is a suspense thriller. It's about a main character whose best friend Monday goes missing and I think no one seems to care, or nobody really noticed that she was gone. I know that Jess read this recently and she loved it, and honestly I cannot wait to get to this one. This one is the one that kind of drew me into Tiffany D. Jackson's books and really caught my eye, so that's when I started looking into her backlist and I realised that she is quite potentially the author for me. So I'm definitely going to be reading those two by her in August. If I have time, I'm also going to get to both Grown and, is it called Let Me Hear the Rhyme or something? I'll put the covers up here, but if not I will read those in September when I also get to White Smoke and I'm so excited. But anyway, do subscribe if you want to see that vlog from me. I have done very similar vlogs in the past. I have covered Ruth Ware's backlist, Kristen Hanna's backlist and Taylor Jenkins Reid's backlist, so I'm very excited to get to Tiffany D. Jackson's. I have one new release coming out in August that I'm so excited for, and that is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. So this is the third book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy and it's one of my all-time favourite trilogies. I gave both of the books 5 stars. I think I at least gave the first one 5 stars. I think I gave the second 4.5 perhaps, but I love them. They're set around the area that I live in, or at least in my county, so I really love seeing all the different places that the characters visit because I am quite familiar with them. I'm going to hopefully do a reread or a very quick skim through of the previous 2 books before I get to As Good as Dead, but it's coming out on the 6th of August. So I'm hoping that I get it on release day. I'm so excited. I've pre-ordered it, cannot wait. Something else I'm taking part in August is ARC August. I do this every single year. I try to clear my NetGalley books or Edelweiss books that I have accumulated. ARC August has been running since probably, I don't know, 2012 or something. It's a very old project. I don't know if the hosts are running it this year, the usual hosts, but I'm going to carry it on unofficially because I really want to get to some of my review copies because I have definitely been neglecting them recently. So the first one that I potentially want to get to is We Can Be Heroes, and this TBR isn't set. I'm very much going to be mood reading my advanced readers copies, but these are the ones that I am intrigued by right now. So We Can Be Heroes is a YA contemporary slash paranormal according to Goodreads. It says here that it's a powerful novel about a trio of girls fighting for each other in the aftermath of a school shooting and the lasting bonds of friendship. I also think there's a ghost involved, so that's where the paranormal aspect comes from. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be hard hitting, which I always enjoy. The next one is Don't Breathe a Word. This one is a mystery historical fiction thriller according to Goodreads, which is a lot of genres, but I'm okay with that. So this one is set in both present day and in 1962. It says here that the main character has never felt like she belonged in both her family and with her friends in New York City, and not in her fancy boarding school. So I picked this one up because it's about a prep boarding school, and I love that. I love boarding school settings. She joins an elite society, and then back in 1962, the main character in that timeline volunteers to be one of 6 students who are testing the school's nuclear fallout shelter. It says here that the main character from the present day unravels the mystery of how 6 students went into the fallout shelter all those years ago, but only 5 came out. This sounds amazing. So it came out in May. I'm a bit behind getting to this, but I haven't heard anyone talk about it, so I don't think it's very popular. If it turns out to be good, I'm going to be shouting about it because it sounds amazing. Then we have a book by one of my all-time favorite authors. That is Red Wolf by Rachel Vincent. So this is a fantasy retelling. It's YA. Rachel Vincent has made a massive comeback. She didn't release any books for quite a few years, and then she came out with 2 in one. So I'm very pleased because I love her urban fantasy stuff. Her YA is alright. I love the Soul Screamers series, but everything else has been a bit eh. But I am looking forward to reading this one. So it says here that it's a reimagining of Little Red Riding Hood. Obviously, you can tell that by the cover. It says here that for as long as the main character can remember, the village has been surrounded by dark woods. Everyone who grows up there has been told to stay away from the woods, but Adele, the main character, has to go into them. Adele is one of a long line of guardians, women who are able to change into wolves and who are tasked with the job of protecting their village while never letting any of the villagers know of their existence. I don't usually love retellings, but this one does sound a little bit different, and because Rachel Vincent is one of my favourite authors, I thought I would pick it up. Then we have a sci-fi thriller, which I thought I would include in this list even though it's not coming out until 2022, and that is Dead Silence. So this one, honestly, sounds amazing. First of all, the tagline is, "At the edge of the solar system, no one can hear you scream." Love that. It says here that the Aurora is a luxury space cruise liner, so space tourism is a thing in this universe, and it went on a cruise and then it went missing for 20 years, or it has been missing for 20 years, but then the main character comes across a distress signal. She ends up investigating it, and they come across this cruise ship. It says here, on board the ship, the crew realizes something is terribly wrong. Unspeakable horrors lurk in every shadow of the massive ship, and soon they start experiencing violent hallucinations. Claire must fight to keep her sanity and get her crew back to safety before they all meet the same ghastly fates as the Aurora's passengers. I love the sound of this. I really hope it's good. It sounds like everything I would love. It's a bit sci-fi with a thriller, some hallucinations, and maybe some murder in space. The next one I want to read is called Hide. This one isn't coming out until December 2021, but I might get to it. It's a thriller book about, I think, 6 friends who go on a road trip or something, and one of them's a serial killer. I love that trope, so don't really have much to say about that one, but I am excited for it. This next one is one that came out in June, so again, I am a bit behind, and that is The Sweetness of Water. This one is a debut book, which I have really been neglecting lately. I am trying to read as many debut books this year as possible, but I've kind of gone off course from that recently. I feel a bit bad, but I've had shit going on. So this one, it says, is about the unlikely bond between 2 freedmen who are brothers and the Georgia farmer whose alliance will alter their lives forever. It's been likened to the Gnome World and the Underground Railroad, so it's set just after the Civil War, I believe. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it if I am in the mood for a historical book. This next one is a thriller. It's not coming out until November, and it's called A Little Bird by Wendy James. I think this one is set in Australia, and I love Australian thrillers. Something about them just really draws me in. I honestly don't know much about it because I don't really read the synopsis for thrillers if I can help it, but I know that it's about a journalist, and I'm hoping it's going to be kind of like The Dry by Jane Harper. And then finally, for my advanced readers copies, I have One Year Gone. This one is actually coming out in August, so I should really be getting to this one. It's another thriller. It's about a main character whose 17-year-old daughter goes missing, and the police basically tell her that sometimes teenagers do that. The daughter is missing for months and months until 1 year later, the main character receives a text from her missing daughter which says, "Please come and help me, mum." Hopefully this one will be really fast paced. I am dying to read it, so I'm going to get to it as soon as possible because my August TBR just keeps going, I do have some more books that I want to get to. So there are 2 books that I would really like to read so that I can recap them for Recaptins, which is a website that I run where we post summaries of books that are in a book series so that we can provide recaps for people who need them before they read the sequels. It's honestly a massive passion project of mine and I love the website so much, so I always try to fit in some books each month that I can recap for that. So one of the ones I want to read is Black Sun. I should have read this for the Space Sirens book club back in November or December, but I just didn't get to it, so I'm hoping to read this one. I also want to read A Deadly Education. I know this one's had mixed reviews and some controversy surrounding it, but I want to read it anyway. It sounds quite good, and in any case I want to recap it for people who are going to read the sequel. I also may get to Ice Planet Barbarians number 3. I don't know the name of it. It's here if you want to see. I read the first 2 in July and I'll talk about them in my July wrap up, and they weren't amazing books by any means, but when I needed to get out of a reading slump or just feel like I was accomplishing something, I did quite enjoy them for those reasons alone, and I've also been recapping them as I go along. That's a project maybe for this month. And then finally, the last one I want to get to is The Efforts by Claire Holroyd. The author sent this to me back in January. It came out in January as well. I cannot wait to read it. So I've been putting this off because I needed to be in the mood for some climate fiction, which is what this is. So it's about kind of the end of the world and how people from all corners of the earth come together to try to stop whatever kind of apocalypse is happening. I think it's climate related. The author talks a lot about climate change on her Twitter, and she also got together with a few other authors to talk about climate fiction and climate change. If you go on her Twitter, you'll see all of this, and honestly she just sounds like a fantastic person, so I'm looking forward to reading this book now that I'm very much in the mood for it. I think because climate change is so real and present in my life at the moment, I had been putting this one off, but it's definitely one that I want to read ASAP. So as you may recall, at the beginning of the year I was trying to read as many books from my TBR as possible, and my goal was 3 books per month, and so I'm definitely managing that with these 5. So I owned these 3 books prior to 2021, I believe. I definitely owned these ones. I can't remember when I got Monday's Not Coming, but I'm fairly sure it was before this year. So those are my 3 to read from prior to 2021, and these 2 I received in 2021, or I bought in Alleged Liz case. So another goal of mine that I have just recently come up with is that I want to read all of the books that I purchase or receive in 2021 in 2021. So I want to read them in the same year because I'm so tired of having books just sat on my shelf for ages and ages. I don't know if I'll manage it with all of them, but I'm going to give a good go of it, so I will be reading these 2. That was my August TBR. I'm sorry for rambling if I did. I'm very much looking forward to August. I'm really looking forward to getting back into the reading groove. I'm looking forward to getting back into BookTube as well, because I'm planning on pre-recording a ton of videos so I can get back into it and I can have some videos scheduled, because it's been really kind of annoying and upsetting not having videos go up every 3 days like I was before, because I was in such a good routine with it, but because of the promotion and the work stuff and other things that have been happening, and the heat wave as well in the UK, I fell behind, and August and September are going to be the months I sort that out. So don't expect me to come back straight away in August with 3 videos a week necessarily, but I am going to slowly be building up again. Anyway, that is it. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books, if you're interested in any. If you want me to review any of these books as well, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you all in the next video. Bye!